Thank you, and thank you to anybody who has been waiting for us to go live. We had some technical difficulties, so thank you to ECAT for getting those resolved so that we can get on the air. I would like to call the meeting to order. I just want to do another quick check to make sure that our virtual participants can hear us and that we can hear them. So Jackie, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
And Marvel, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Great, thank you. All right, so welcome everyone to the Easton School Committee meeting of Thursday, March 13th, 2025. This meeting is being conducted in a hybrid format where attendance by committee members may be remote or in person, and remote attendance shall count toward quorum. This meeting is being broadcast live and recorded on ECAT. For tonight's meeting, we have committee member Jackie Wiseman and student representative Marvel Nimmer participating remotely and in the Simmons Lecture Hall. We have Nancy DeLuca, Kelly Percio, and Jen Starr, and Assistant Superintendent Chrissy Pruitt. This meeting is open to the public. Members of the public attending in person who wish to make comments will be invited to do so during the public comment period of tonight's meeting, and will be required to state their name and address before beginning their comments. So with that, we will move to our first item on the agenda, which is our student representative to the school committee update. Marvel?
Yeah, sorry. So I'm just gonna keep it a bit of a general update for today. Just to make sure, or just to allow all of my peers to meet with their respective schools. But in regards to the elementary schools, so Blanche and RO, I've been, firsthand seeing and hearing of the excitement regarding some fun field trips that are coming up or that have happened for certain classes. And I'll make sure to update you guys on that for the next meeting. And then in the middle school, so as previously mentioned in the last couple of meetings, there's a survey that went out to kind of make sure that the administration and the students were on the same page and, allow students to vocalize their opinions or, things that, they're hoping to change or see change in during the schools. I just got the data on all of that, so I'm just going to make sure to, review it all and, get all of my bearings together, and then I'll make sure to talk about that in specific in the next meeting as well. And then for OA, there's a bunch of things going on at OA. You were kind of getting out of this dreary winter season, and as the spring is starting up, there's a lot of fun and happiness. So we have a lot of club events that are being hosted. The musical just happened, and which was amazing. 10 out of 10. That was great. I've heard amazing things. The spring season for sports is starting on Monday, so tryouts or sports that don't have tryouts are starting on Monday. And then there's a lot of prom information going out for the juniors, and then just congrats, to everything that's going on, all the sports that come to an end. Boys basketball did an amazing job the other day, and just wanted to shout them out.
All right, great. Thank you, Marvel. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Marvel? All right, great. Thank you. Great update.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, next up we have a vote to approve policies. This is the second reading of the list of policies that I will name. So we have JL, Student Welfare, JLA, Student Insurance Program, JLC, Student Health Services and Requirements, JLCA, Physical Examinations of Students, JLCB, Inoculations of Students, JLCC, Communicable Diseases, JLCD, Administering Medicines to Students, JLCEC, Automatic External Defibrillator, ADF Wellness Guidelines, JICH-R, Drug and Alcohol Use by Students Administrative Guidelines. So why don't we take these in the order in which they are on our agenda, and
our director, yes. Okay. Our Director of Nursing, Colleen Clark, is here to present the second readings and answer any questions that you may have. Okay. Colleen? Oh, we can't hear you.
Okay, now I'm on.
Great.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
So we went through all these policy changes during the last meeting. How do you want me to proceed? If you can give me a little guidance as far as am I going through each one again? What would you like me to do?
So I think we can just take each one and just see if any committee members had any questions about any of them. We received them in advance, so I know I read through and compared them to the edits and notes we had taken last time. I think there was only one that I had a question on, and I actually forgot to bring it with me, but hopefully it'll jog my memory when I see it. But, so we'll just give any other committee members an opportunity to, if you had questions or if
Okay.
there's an edit you were expecting and didn't see, we can talk about that now. We can start with JL, student welfare. That's the first one that was in our packet.
Okay.
So, does anybody have?
Packet is backwards. I was just going to say, I don't think any changes were made to this one because the language
No.
mirrors the Mass General Law.
I just had one question because I don't see the footnote on the bottom that we typically include for each one, so I just didn't know if it was cut off. I was looking at my old copy.
I think that you guys will
It'll be,
put, you'll
yeah.
put the revised or accepted or whatever after we vote tonight, right?
Yeah.
I didn't see the original one though. I thought it
Right,
was not
I think
updated.
I think there's another page,
That
I
got cut off.
think,
Okay.
but I'm not sure. so-
Okay, that's fine.
But we will get those dates on, yes.
Okay, just confirming. I knew it was. I knew it
So-
was original.
So I think we only started making changes under the student health services and requirements section. And we had just changed wording like for eye and hearing and vision and hearing, BMI part. So those are just like words that were changed
Okay.
in that one.
Okay, so I'm just cross-checking my notes. Apologies. So if we look at JL, student welfare, I had made a note at the bottom, and I don't remember if we concluded it that day or we're going to look into it, but we had noted under financials and reporting, it had noted grades 1 through 12. Was that, we were going to leave that because kindergarten is not mandatory, is that correct?
And that's how the law reads.
Perfect, thank you. I just was cross-checking my notes. Thank you. Then no comments on that one. And the notes, the footnote does appear to be on the other page, so we'll just reference that when we update them.
All right, so JL, we'll be good to vote on that one without further discussion, sounds like. So JLA, student insurance program, I guess this was another one that we didn't have any edits, right?
And this is still in place. The students, the families get a notice the first day of school with all the other stuff. And it's just, if they want to be involved with the insurance plan, they have the information. So it stays the same.
Okay, all right. So next up, JLC. Let's see. So as just mentioned, this was the one where there just been some language updates.
Right.
Yep.
Like hearing, vision, just, we named what the screenings were.
Yep. Those all got captured. So any further questions on this one?
I thought we fixed that sentence on the back page there. In case of illness or injury, the parent or guardian will be contacted and asked to call for the student or provide the Easton Public Schools transportation. And I know Colleen sent me something. I thought
Yeah.
I typed it in, but I guess I didn't. I will fix it, but it will be fine.
Okay, all right. So-
Yeah, because I have it on a cleaned up copy if you need it again.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
So
That was
So
the
it has a
only-
noted edit.
We'll accept the noted edit. All right.
Then it's procedures for emergency at school. We just changed,
Where is she?
oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, go ahead, sorry, go ahead.
We had changed, complete emergency form, which supplies information, that was just added language. Had been read. So it just cleaned up language because we don't have emergency cards anymore. It's done online, so we kind of crossed out card. And we just put, instead of the business office, the superintendent's office.
Yep. Okay. And then whatever the additional one is that you
Yeah,
noted.
I will
Okay.
fix that.
Okay. All right, so next up, JLCA, physical exam of students. This looks like a cap, it pushed through the edits from last time, which were just striking a lot of that language because the physician does not actually do physical exams of students
Correct.
anymore. Okay.
Yep, correct.
Okay, any questions or comments on that one? We're good? All right. Inoculations. This one, I have a minor edit. Pertussis in the third line does not need to be capitalized. And I believe that there should be a comma
yeah.
after this, right? Pertussis, comma,
Comma.
poliomyelitis.
That
Yes,
was
that's correct.
When I put it in, so I don't know why that one didn't get printed.
Okay,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Because I did.
Yes, Tussis, comma,
okay. All right, so that will be.
and measles, comma, varicella, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I think that
So
was-
accept that it's.
Yep.
And then we had just deleted the documentation of lead. We don't typically exclude students for that.
Oh, that was
yep.
the other one, yeah, so in your, did you capture that in a version, your prior
Yeah.
version, did that actually strike that?
Yep.
Okay, all right, that was the other one, all right.
Sorry, the last line in the prior paragraph was added. Okay, got it. I'm just cross-checking that it's now. Okay.
And then JLCC, communicable diseases. So these, I don't recall if they were edits, but it looked
there were
good.
these ones in red.
I think there's a couple, like,
Oh,
bio
yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say a space.
spaces. These were all fixed,
Yep.
so I don't know. I think there's probably like 5 copies of this in different Google form.
Forms, okay.
Yep.
I think the only thing that was taken out was the acquired immune deficiency syndrome was just scratched out
Yep.
in the second paragraph.
Yep, and then there was an ad at the bottom of the 4th paragraph to provide reasonable accommodations. Those last few words were updated. Okay.
Yes, yep.
That's accurate. JLCD, this was administering medicines to students. And I know we had, last time, we had a little bit of discussion about the removal of the language about, delegating to others and.
Right,
And I
because
went.
we don't currently do that in Easton, so.
Yep. Okay, so this looked like it captured everything accurately.
And we added a lot of the language about self-administration and the protocol for that for high school students. There's a lot of language added there in that section. Got 2 copies going here. It gets confusing.
Right. Okay, so next up is JLCEC. This is the AED one. I did have a note that we were going to just make sure to socialize this with the fire department. I don't think that should impede our voting on it, but just want to
No.
make sure that from a protocol perspective, somebody has
Well, yes,
that box.
we'll be in contact. Yep, we'll check that box.
Okay.
We just added the athletic trainer. We decided, I had put or designee, depending who that would be, and we added that to be the athletic trainer.
Right.
And then wrote out emergency medical services instead of EMS, so there would be no confusion.
All right, and then the wellness guidelines. So this was the one that was really substantial.
Yes.
But yeah, it looked like all of the discussion points last time were captured.
Um,
So does anybody have any questions on that one?
Let me just cross-check. I thought I cross-checked it when I looked last night, but let me just.
The notification form, isn't it? I've never seen that before.
It's pretty detailed. Okay. And then JICH-R, the administrative guidelines for drug and alcohol use by students. Looks like the version in our packet actually still has the red line, so just a version control thing, but presumably you have a version that accepts those
Yeah.
changes. Okay.
Because
Sorry.
fixed all these.
Yep.
I caught one thing, sorry, on wellness, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
do I back for a moment? At in the section labeled school meal programming, letter D, so it'll be page 4 as we look at it, I believe.
Letter D.
Free and reduced pricing.
Yes.
The very end of that paragraph had articles, take-home materials, or other means, and I had highlighted that as something we're potentially cutting. Did we cut it or did we just work it in?
Oh, wait a minute.
Can you just?
Let me
tell
go
me that
cross-reference.
Yeah.
I think the edit makes sense now. There's the comma there, so it's non-traditional
provide-
methods for serving school meals.
Yeah,
I have it noted just language to fix.
okay, I'm just reading through it. It says, towards this end, schools may utilize electronic identification payment systems, provide meals to all children regardless of income, promote the availability of school meals to all students, and/or use non-traditional methods for serving school meals, articles, take-home materials, or other means.
So I think the and other means was, if there was a pamphlet that was sent out that day, or, just things that weren't listed there that could be
Okay.
something that the school uses. That's what
Maybe if we added, methods for serving school meals and distributing articles, take-home materials.
Is that what we intend it to be? I think it is.
Yeah.
So before articles put, what did you just say?
And distributing?
And distributing, and providing, maybe.
Okay.
Providing
Writing might be good, yeah.
articles.
Hi, everyone.
Materials.
Hello.
Or any other.
I think that
Oh.
other means is referring to the larger, expansive list of things that students on free and reduced meals can qualify for.
Gotcha.
Okay. So would providing work for that? The serving part threw me off. Sorry. It was and/or use non-traditional methods for serving school meals, articles, take-home materials, or other means. The serving part threw me off. We could say providing instead of serving.
Yeah.
I just had made a note.
Yes.
Non-traditional
Yeah, I would.
for-
I see that. I would. It doesn't change it if you put providing, and it's probably
Instead of
makes
serving.
more sense.
Instead of serving.
Yeah, okay, I like that better. So providing
Providing.
school meals, articles, take-home materials, or other
Okay.
means.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
My prior note didn't make enough sense for me to have helped with that, but there we go.
So that'll be that one. Okay. And then the drug and alcohol one, that'll be again, we're approving the cleaned up version of this.
Yeah.
With accepting. Yeah.
I had a question for Colleen, if that's okay.
Of course, yes.
Sure.
So it's not on the agenda, but the concussion protocol, I think you rewrote that, right?
Actually, it was written by the athletic trainer, Michelle Norman,
Okay.
and she utilized Mass General Brigham's guidelines. And then Mary McDonald, the athletic director, myself, and Lynn LeBlanc, the nurse at the high school, sat down and went over it. So that's how it happened.
Okay. So we haven't voted on that yet, have we?
We haven't gone over that, no.
Okay. So that's something I just want to make sure that doesn't fall through the cracks. I think is it JJIF and JJIF-R, I think, if I wrote that down correctly.
That's correct.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that we get that on an upcoming agenda as well, so that we can make sure to approve that and get that replaced.
Right. And so it'd probably be good to have somebody from, I know Mary's on maternity leave, but maybe the trainer could be on also.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Colleen, you're suggesting adding the trainer to this meeting
Yes,
to answer
yes.
questions? Sure.
I think that'd be helpful.
All right, so Lynn can coordinate that, I see you taking that note. Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
All righty, then, so I make a motion, let's see, I think we can do these in
Batches?
batches, yes. Okay. so make a motion to approve policies JL, student welfare, JLA, student insurance program, JLCA, physical examinations
Oh,
of students.
JLC.
That's
I'm
with
not
edits.
going in order.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
okay.
JLCC, communicable diseases, JLCD, administering medicines to students, and JLCEC, automatic external defibrillator, as they are written. Can I get a second?
Percio, second.
Can get a roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Wiseman, yes.
Star, yes?
Percio, yes.
Okay. And then I make a motion to approve, just get these somewhat in order. JLC, Student Health Services and Requirements, ADF, Wellness Guidelines, and JICH-R with noted edits. Can I get a second?
JLC and JLCB?
JLCB.
And JLCB, thank you, which is inoculations of students, all with noted edits.
DeLuca, second.
Roll call vote?
DeLuca, yes.
Wiseman, yes.
Star, yes?
Percio, yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Next up on the agenda, approval of donations. Sprit?
So we have the tricentennial, the Easton Tricentennial Program that is committee that is planning many fun events for our town. They are going to be running an Easton 300 bike race on August 17th in conjunction with the Easton Public Schools. They are planning on donating 25% of their proceeds to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and will be utilizing the campus for this bike race. So we are looking to, Director Kopax is here to answer any questions, and we are looking for your approval for utilization of the space and for you to be aware also of the actual race itself and where some of the proceeds will be going.
Thank you. So I know this doesn't fit neatly into the box of the normal donations that we approve. We're accepting a donation on behalf of the schools. But our Director of Operations wanted to make sure that we were kind of aware of it, and approve the use of the school grounds for this event in conjunction with the Easton 300. So any questions or comments about?
Is the sum total of our donation the use of grounds, or are there additional funds being spent?
There's no additional funds from the school department being spent. This is all on them.
Okay. So just for those watching, the response was that there are no additional funds being spent.
So are some of the funds going back into Easton 300? I'm kind of confused. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. It was confusing trying to put it together with the organizer. So it's with SVC Bike Works. They're organizing the bike race with US Cycles and Jack Mowat.
Jack Mowat.
Yeah.
He's organizing it. So when he and I were talking about this, we were trying to come up with the fee to use the space, right? And I just couldn't come up with anything logical. So the more we talked about it, we both basically at the same time said, what about donation?
Okay,
Right.
so
So-
people are going to ride in this bike race, pay a donation, pay a fee to
an
run,
entrance fee.
to ride.
Yes.
25% of that will go back to SVC,
No, to Dana-Farber.
to Dana-Farber.
Yes.
The rest of it goes to Easton 300, or goes to the school department, or,
Nope.
No.
It would go, so the rest of it supports the race, and portions support the company who is US Cycles that organizes the race.
So they get paid for organizing
They
the
get paid
race?
for organizing.
Okay, that's, thank you.
That's my,
That's
it took a little bit, because I had to do some research.
it's a little weird. Okay.
So,
Well, there's a lot involved too. I
Yeah, the
mean,
events
you've
aren't
got
free.
you know, like the station, the water stations and the lunch, I don't know how long
Yeah,
this
there's-
race is, but,
Yeah,
there was just a lot of moving parts. and
okay.
trying to
All
figure
right,
it out.
I'm good. Thank you.
So instead of charging a fee, we are donating the space.
We're doing the space, yes.
and then they're giving credit to us
Right.
as the Tricentennial Committee in their donation to Dana-Farber.
Yep.
All right. Jackie, do you have any questions?
No, I'm all set, thank you.
All right, okay. Okay, would somebody like to make let me see how we're gonna put this. So would somebody like to make a motion to approve the use of school facilities, school grounds? Let's see. Easton Public Schools grounds for the Easton 300 bike race in consideration for the donation that will be made on behalf of the Tricentennial Committee and Easton Public Schools to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
Second, DeLuca.
Okay. Roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Wiseman, yes.
Star, yes?
Pursue, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you for that. All right, and a more conventional
Yes,
donation acceptance. Assistant Superintendent Pruitt.
Thank you. So the ExxonMobil Educational Alliance program has informed us that we are the recipient of a $500 grant to be used for philanthropical work. They support a lot of philanthropical work. It's to be used for STEAM-related activities at Oliver Ames. I spoke with Principal Kavanaugh, and she is very excited to be able to utilize funds, if approved by school committee, to fund some of our STEAM clubs and activities, and put it into the student account funds for their use.
All right, and this has been an annual donation for the
Yes,
past few years, so
this
we're very
has.
thankful
Yes.
for our local ExxonMobil. So to whoever, and I know they have remained anonymous.
Yes.
But whoever has facilitated this for Easton Public Schools, we are very grateful for your thoughtfulness. Any questions on this? All right, would somebody like to make a motion to accept the $500 grant from ExxonMobil Educational Alliance Program through Global Partners?
Wiseman, so moved.
Can I get a second?
Pursue, second.
Roll call vote?
DeLuca, yes.
Wiseman, yes.
Star, yes?
Pursue, yes.
Next up, personnel changes. Mrs. Pruitt?
Kathy Hayes, is here with us tonight virtually. Kathy Hayes are one of our many art teacher extraordinaires. Kathy is at the Easton Middle School, and she began her career with the Easton Public Schools in 2004 as a long-term sub teaching art at Center School. In 2005, she was appointed as the .5 art teacher at Center School. Over the years, she's also worked at Oliver Ames and Easton Middle School. She received professional teaching status in 2008, and after 20 plus years in the district, Kathy plans to retire at the end of the school year in June 2025. If you ever have the opportunity to go into Easton Middle School and see the work that the students do, it really is remarkable. I love going in and seeing the giant Oreo boxes and all the various projects that she has the students do, and it's really remarkable how she makes art become alive for our students. And I know that this is a wonderful opportunity for Kathy to retire, but she'll be greatly missed.
So I'll read her letter. I would like to announce my retirement from teaching in the Easton Public Schools effective at the end of the current school year in June 2025. Thank you for all of your support over the years, and I will truly cherish my time in the Easton school system. Please call me if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you, Kathy Hayes, our teacher, Easton Middle School. So any comments from school committee members?
I do.
Go ahead, Nancy.
So I taught with Kathy, and I had her kids in my class. So she's great. I love her. I don't know what the exact name of the class is, but she uses recycled materials and makes 3D art. Thank you. And there were things in the hallway that were just hanging, and it was so wonderful. The kids love her, and she is definitely going to be missed. But Kathy, you're going to love retirement. Woo-hoo.
Any other comments?
I have very fond memories of sending in lots of recycled materials to create the art and having them rummage through the recycle bin to find things that can be used for it. But you've left an impression on all three of my older children. They know certain artists and experiences because of the impact you had, so I appreciate you.
Jackie, any comments?
No, nothing right now. I just echo the ones already made. Thank you.
Thank you. And I definitely, my house is filled with with art projects. So, it's been many years since my kids have been out of the middle school, but we've got some really cool things, a couple of winter holiday sculptures, and I think the cake slices.
Yep.
If those were in your class, Kathy, I believe they were, and some other recycled art. I think I have there might be an album, like a record album that was turned into a bowl that's in my front hallway. So really cool stuff. So Kathy, I know she's on. Did you want to say anything?
She didn't move over, but I know that she's here and listen. She's
Okay.
here listening.
Okay.
And I believe Marvel had raised her hand.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Marvel.
Yeah, sorry. I just wanted to say that both my sister and I had Miss Hayes, and I think I can speak for both of us and really all the students have had her, that we truly couldn't have asked for anyone better than Mrs. Hayes to guide us in the arts. I still have some of my artwork here on the wall, and it was just, we were missed not to have her.
Okay, well, we wish you, you're welcome to move over and speak if you'd like, but if not, we just wish you best in retirement. Thank you for all of your years of service and for impacting so many kids and giving them something truly, truly fun, creative, and enjoyable to do, especially at that middle school level. So with that, I would make a motion to accept with regret the retirement of Kathy Hayes. Can I get a second?
DeLuca, second.
Roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Wiseman, yes.
Star, yes.
Garcia, yes.
And like the cadence is off. I'm waiting.
I know.
Okay. And
I
then
keep
we
waiting for
have
Lauren and
a
then-
second retirement. So,
Sure.
Mrs. Pruitt.
Karen Mello, paraprofessional, began her career with the Easton Public Schools in 2006 as a lunch playground aide at Center School, along with working at the Project Early Kindergarten classroom at the H.H. Richardson. In 2007, she was hired as a paraprofessional at Moreau Hall School. Karen also worked at RO and in 2013 at EMS, where she plans to retire after 19 years of service on June 13th, 2025.
Read her letter. Dear Mr. Carroll, Dr. Cabral, and Ms. DiNapoli, kindly accept this letter as my formal intention to retire from my paraprofessional position at Easton Middle School, effective June 13th, 2025. When reflecting on my journey at EPS, I can truly say I loved coming to school each morning. No 2 days have ever been the same. Working with our students has been exciting, unpredictable, rewarding, an absolute privilege and a pleasure. Over the years, as I have worked in the special education department, I have learned and refined many skills such as patience, perseverance, flexibility, teamwork, resilience, and compassion. In closing, I want to express my sincere gratitude for all of your support, friendship, teamwork, and opportunities. Warmest regards, Karen Mello. Okay. Any comments from school committee members?
You're going to love retirement.
Every time you say it, I just wish I was
She came to the
retiring.
middle school after I left, so.
Okay, any other comments from school committee members? Well, thank you for all of your years of service. I have, as the parent of students who have benefited from having paraprofessionals in the classroom and in servicing them, I very much value all of the work that you all do, and it's to be able to do that for such a long tenure is really remarkable. And I really loved the language in her letter as well. yeah, kids are unpredictable but rewarding. So that's a great.
And no
great-
two
Every
days are
day
the
is
same.
different.
That's what
Every day is different.
Yep.
That
yep.
should be your retirement goal. No
Yes.
two days are the same.
Yes. So thank you so much for all of your years of service, and I will make a motion to accept with regret the retirement of Karen Mello. Can I get a second?
Wiseman, second.
And roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Wiseman, yes.
Star, yes?
Pursue, yes.
All right. Next up, vote to approve the 2025-2026 schedule of school committee meetings. This is our second reading. So I know we'd had lots of edits, et cetera, last time. I looked through, this seemed to capture our discussed edits, but Kelly, I know you have your materials from last time, so if anybody has any further questions or if it looked like anything was missed, we can discuss now.
The only one I had is that I thought we were moving February 5th to the 12th. So that there would be 2 weeks after the 29th, then we would be the 12th and then the 26th.
Okay. Does anybody, any other committee members recall otherwise?
I think it was 12 and 26 because it was the exact same thing as March.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Does everything else look?
Yep, we
Checks
Looks great to
added,
me.
yeah, we added an extra meeting in
didn't even
April.
look.
Nancy, we added an extra meeting in April.
Yes.
Yeah, there's
Yes.
dates there.
And then I think we had made a note that we were going to look to add workshops, but at a future date.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. All right, great. So then, would somebody like to make a motion to accept the schedule of school committee meetings with the one noted edit, which is to move February 5th to February 12th?
So moved, Pursue.
Can I get a second?
DeLuca, second.
Roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Ms. Jackie?
Is Jackie still on?
Oh, no, she's
Okay.
exiting temporarily.
Okay.
Star, yes?
Pursue, yes. Sorry.
All right, great.
The algorithm. That was it. That was the tipping point to my rhythm.
Okay, all right. Okay. Next up, we have MASC resolutions that are set to expire in 2025. All right, so I feel like the preamble here was actually very helpful, and I think more gave us a little bit more direction than we had received last year, which was the first time this had come up. So just as a reminder, MASC at the November Joint Convention has a delegate assembly where delegates from school committees can vote to approve or disapprove resolutions. The resolutions are typically things like advocating for specific positions at the state level, and Nancy was our delegate this year. I was the delegate the year before. It's a very interesting process to
I think
witness.
this year was better than your year.
So one of the resolutions from a couple of years ago was to expire resolutions periodically unless committees choose to push to have them reconsidered or continued. So, so this is an opportunity for committees to consider advocating for these potential expiring resolutions to be reconsidered for reauthorization at this year's delegate assembly. And if we are interested in doing so, we would need to vote as a school committee and then notify MASC by June 1st. So we have some time, so we can, this can be sort of our initial discussion to see if there are any that committee members have an interest in seeing continued, or if there are ones that, you know, we just don't really have an opinion on either way. And I know, I think we'll have to definitely schedule this for another meeting because we're not going to vote on this tonight. But I know I think Lauren had some feedback on a couple of them, and unfortunately, she was not able to attend tonight. But for the members who are here, any thoughts or feedback on any of these resolutions, things that you would be particularly interested in us potentially pushing forward as a committee? And I think it would be helpful to have maybe Andrea's feedback on, so we can just go through them in order. So Resolution 1 is regarding sanctuary laws for transgender students. So this had been approved a few years ago and advocates, let's see, the resolution itself is that the MASC calls on the Great and General Court to join with other states in the passage of so-called sanctuary laws to ensure children and their families a safe environment of protections in the areas of HIPAA law, discrimination, mental health, and medical care, which includes mental health support and resources for students and families, and this is particularly specific for transgender students. Also, the power of enjoying in safety and tranquility their natural rights and blessings of life is guaranteed by the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And it gives the rationale in the preamble. So this is something that I would be interested in us further discussing, especially with what's going on now. It would be good for MASC to continue to take a stand.
Unless there's another resolution that more broadly takes a stand on a similar topic. Sometimes I found that in the resolutions.
Yep.
One became a broader
Yep.
encompassing of rights, which I would support regardless.
Yep, okay, all right, we can take a look at what has been passed since then.
Yep.
Okay, all right, so maybe we'll revisit that. Sounds like we'll revisit that one. The second one, this is to increase the maximum balance allowed by the Special Education Reserve Fund.
Yep.
I imagine this is something that we would be interested in.
Especially
and-
after our breakfast the other day.
Yes,
Seen
and
some of
agree
those.
with so this is advocating for, so right now, districts are allowed to set aside a special education reserve fund, but it caps that at a balance of 2% of annual net school spending, and this resolution was for the legislature to increase that to 5%.
Yes. Okay. I would be pleasantly surprised if we had the ability to do that, but I support it fully.
Okay, all right, great. And then Resolution 3, so this is membership of the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. So this is BESI, which sits above DESI and is, as they point out here, the only, where's this good stat? The teaching profession is the only profession or trade in Massachusetts where the holders of a license are prohibited from serving on its governing board. So practicing educators and school committee members are prohibited from serving on the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. So,
So the goal is to change that.
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yes, so I'm a fan of that as well. Preserving local governance of Massachusetts schools. So this one is has to do with schools that are in receivership. I personally have no opinion one way or the other on that, but if other members do.
If other districts who have experienced receivership look to move this forward, then I would support them on that. But having not been in that place, I can't really articulate the benefit.
I think that same thought, yep.
Yeah, this is so that the schools that are in receivership, right now, they do not have control, the state has control of their school committees. And I think that what this is asking for is that the towns that or cities that are in receivership regain control of
Yeah, it
that.
says that there's a term. They want to limit the term to 3 years and be
Yes.
able to regain that,
Yeah.
which having known others who have served in districts that experience that, I do think it's important, but is 3 years the number or 2 or 5,
Right.
I wouldn't be able to articulate. So if those who experience it have a desire to move forward, that would support them.
And then Resolution 5, personal financial literacy education. So I would be interested in hearing
Yes.
your take on that. So, there are a lot of reasons for it, but so the resolution is that MASC file legislation that will have the effect of ensuring that all students have exposure to personal financial literacy curricula and ultimately graduate from high school with a lifelong knowledge of how to be fiscally responsible, to avoid being deterred by financial woes. This legislation should ensure that the students at various levels would benefit from curriculum in Massachusetts public schools, which would include content in personal financial literacy. So I guess I have questions about who's funding that. Is it a mandate?
Exactly.
Is it a graduation requirement?
Right. It is not currently a mandate for all of our Ames students to take financial literacy. And so this does come without funding. So that is just something for you to consider when you are looking through this. This resolution does come without funding.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm curious to know, so the resolution is that MASC file legislation that would have the effect of ensuring that all students have exposure to personal financial literacy curricula. I can't tell if that means it's required or
Right.
just that a school has to offer some sort of financial literacy, which OA already does through the accounting classes.
It
right?
does, but that doesn't mean that all students are exposed.
Right.
So I think it's pretty interpretable at this point.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we can, what do you guys think about this one?
I mean, we offer it, and if they're not going to fund it, then I don't know. I mean, it's a good skill for the kids to have.
It's a good
I
idea.
would
in
love them all
theory.
to take this. but
Absolutely.
Maybe it doesn't have to be at the high school level. Maybe it could be younger. I don't know.
I seem to recall junior year, I want to say, they go to an event where they actually practice financial literacy by having a job and a budget.
Yes.
And so that is
Credit for life.
Credit for life. Thank
Yes.
you.
Is
I'm
that
sitting here going.
Yeah, I couldn't remember the name. Thank you.
It did happen. It happened. I don't know if it happened last year. I know that we have obviously we've had it for many years, but I will look into when that will be for this coming year.
And the 8th grade math classes had a project towards the end of the year that they had to get a job and an apartment and have a food budget, and they didn't get into loans or mortgage payments or anything like that, but they did get into it, and it was a great little project for the kids to do.
Right.
And I know, and there's a high school math class that does a comparison of a in-state school versus an out-of-state school, and how much, the difference in costs and how much it would be over the 4 years, and how much the loan amount is and the payback. So
Understanding loans was
but
in it,
not
yeah.
everybody does that. In 8th grade, everybody did, and I don't even know if they still do it, but they used to. So
And I think it's safe to say that it is a very important content area for us for our students to have. However, that does come with a budget implication. So it's just something for you to consider. If you are in support of that, then we would have to look again at our budget if it does become a requirement on how to allocate our funds to support that.
Or if it could be supported through what's already occurring without additional use of funds. And then it's a question of what is in the language.
Right.
It sounds like something we should discuss as a group going forward, but I do feel comfortable that we are at least attempting to provide those basic skills that we just talked about.
Okay, and then the last one is the establishment of a regional school assessment reserve fund. My interpretation of this was that I'm thinking this applies towards true regional schools like Silver Lake, like
Whitman Hanson.
Hanson, et cetera, not a regional vocational school, which we would be part of with either, Southeastern or Bristol. So again, this is one where I don't think it impacts us, so I don't particularly feel compelled to advocate for something when there are other districts that are impacted and can advocate probably more effectively.
I took a similar interpretation as you did and feel relieved that you took the same.
Okay.
So I agree with that. I don't think that is one that needs to be on our immediate list.
Okay, let me just check and make sure. Okay. All right. So since we only have 3 of us here today, we'll put this on we'll check the agendas for future meetings and find one where it'll be good to revisit those before the June filing deadline.
And I will also find out more information around the financial literacy
Okay.
portion and look at the standards as well to see and talk further with Kelly about this.
Okay, great. Okay,
Thank you.
great.
Yep.
Thanks. All right. Next up, pay/budget update. So I know we have this as a standing item. You didn't have anything prepared for this, right?
I did not, no.
Okay, great. So, let me think. There's so many meetings lately. So, yeah, we had a PACE meeting last week. We have another PACE meeting next Wednesday. In the meantime.
And those are broadcast.
Yes, yep, so those will be at 6:30 on Wednesday. Let's see, so we had the open house recently, and there are, if you go to the PACE website or follow PACE on social media, I think the presence is mostly on Facebook, there are lots of opportunities to meet with PACE committee members in more casual and smaller settings over the next few weeks. So a group of us were at Oliver Ames over the weekend for in the atrium surrounding the basketball game Friday night and the 3 musical productions. We had a table set up with some facts and information. And then there are one of the local coffee shops is hosting Friday morning sessions, and then there was a virtual session this week with members of PACE. It took place, I think it was Monday evening, a live drop-in at Town Hall the week before. So there is a full schedule out there of opportunities if folks have questions about the budget and proposal for an override. And then the select board at their March 24th meeting, which is, let me just double check. So I believe at their meeting on the 24th, let me just double check. I got a note. I spoke to the school select board chair today. They will be working on finalizing and voting on the schedule for scheduling an override election, which will include, the intent is to include an early voting day and also absentee voting. So trying to find as many ways to make it easy for folks to participate in that. So
There was an actual number that the PACE committee came to for a suggestion.
yes, I don't have my notes with
7.2 or 3.
7 point, I think it was 7.3.
Okay.
That's right.
Yep.
And 800,000, which, and then, so 7.3 for an override.
7.3 million, yeah.
Yeah, 0.3 million, and then 800,000 in cuts, identifying a total problem size of 8.1 million.
And the goal on that is to maintain level of service across the board within the town.
That's right, yep. So, so that's where we are. Any
A
questions on
question
that?
I received from a parent within the school system, questions that individuals have if they are not able to attend a PACE meeting. I believe there's an email
There is.
that they can contact, and so the question, I guess if we could reiterate the email, that would be great if you happen to have it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's on the website, and then how long they should expect for a response.
Let's see. Let me just.
I'm not
I
sure
would
who
s-
mans that and who has
Yeah, I would
capacity
say,
to in a volunteer program.
Yeah, I would say within a couple of business days, I think
Okay.
would be reasonable for a response. And let me just. I don't want to say it, what I think it is, and give out wrong information.
I'm sure it's on the website as well.
Yes,
It was
it's
just
Easton Pace 2024@gmail.com. So that's EASTON PASE 2024@gmail.com. So any questions that you would like to send in via writing, you can feel free to email them, and they should be able to, I would imagine, get back within a couple of business days. Thank you. Great point. Okay. Any other questions on that?
Thank you for doing that.
And our budget meeting is the 3rd.
April 3rd, yep. Okay, next up, this is a first ever, I
Yes,
believe.
yes.
So we got familiar with this process. A vote to remove a book from the Blanche Ames Library.
Yes.
And the book in question was The Bad Guys Series number 12, The One. Assistant Superintendent Pruitt?
So thank
Take
you.
us through
So
this.
I actually was going to bring you through the process because in the 8 years that I've been here, this is the first time that I'm bringing this before the school committee. So just to sort of walk you through the process of what happens when a parent would like a book removed from anywhere within the school, there is a process for them to complete. There are 3 school committee policies that actually support textbook selection and adoption, reconsider of instructional resources, and library materials selection and adoption. They all fall under, so they are IJJ, IJ-R, and IJL. And so when a parent or a resident or a citizen has a concern about a book, the first step is to ask them to read the book in full to understand its content and context, discuss their concerns with the school, make sure that they're reviewing the 3 policies to see that it does fall within their rights to ask for reconsideration of the book, and then they fill out a book challenge request form, which you will see in your packet. The book challenge request form asks just for basic information, why they're asking for the removal of the book, and any suggestions that they may have. Then after that is submitted, a committee is formed and they review the book, review the concern, the reason for the challenge, and make a recommendation for what to do with the book. The decision is then communicated to the person that put in the challenge in the first place, and then it is presented to you for final approval of the removal of the book. In this particular case, this series, The Bad Guys, is a very popular book series. It just isn't age appropriate. Upon looking at it and even looking at the review sites, the start age for this book is age 7, and Blanche Ames has students, so this book was in the library, and Blanche Ames, it's accessible to students under the age of 7. There are pictures in the book that display some frightening images that this parent actually saw and brought to our attention. We're very thankful for that, because the other books in the series are age appropriate, but this is one of them that is not. So we do recommend that this is removed from the Blanche Ames Library, this particular one. However, it is still suitable for upper elementary grades.
How many books are in the series?
I think there are 12 altogether.
Okay.
I think this is the last one of the series.
Okay. So the others have all been reviewed
Yes.
by the committee as well?
We did not review all the other books, but I did look into them.
Thank you.
Yes.
And they don't contain the same level
Correct.
of content.
Correct.
Thank you.
Any questions about it? I think, I don't recall, I had been copied on some emails. I believe the rest of the school committee had been as well, that had some of the
content.
excerpts from the book and the content, which is helpful. So I agree with the recommendation of the committee, and we thank the parents for their patience as we
Yes.
work through this
Yes.
process. Yep.
Yep.
So,
I am always conscious at any moment in time when we're making a decision on removal of books and very sensitive to that. However, I fully support the age appropriate analysis from the district, and I support the fact that there are times and places for everything. And
Yes.
this may not be age appropriate.
Right.
I'm grateful to the parents for raising that, especially as it was the last in the series.
Right.
It can escalate to a point that can
Right.
be a little more challenging.
Right, and with the idea that, even a preschool teacher may bring their students up there to grab a book, and if, a 3-year-old's got their hands on this book, after review of the book, it's not appropriate it's not developmentally appropriate for that age group.
Appreciate that.
all right. So with that, would somebody like to make a motion to remove the bad guys number 12, the 1, from the Blanche Ames Library?
So moved, DeLuca.
Can I get a second?
First or second?
And roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes?
Star, yes?
First, yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
If you have any questions on the process, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to share them
I
with
feel
you.
much more educated now, so
Yes.
thank you. And thank you to the parents who raised this.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
spoke up on behalf of all the kids.
All right, so, so next up, and has Jackie rejoined? Okay, all right, so Nancy, I guess you can take us through the next batch of policy discussion.
Is, Director Perez still on?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Wonderful.
On this, oh, go ahead.
All right, so we have a first reading of another batch of policies. So again, thank you to our intrepid policy subcommittee of Nancy and Jackie for the
And Carol's.
And
immense
yes.
amount of work, and then our professionals who are helping out. So
Right.
Carol's,
Our Director of DEIA, Carol Perez, has been wonderful at supporting this work. I just really want to give her a shout out for her attention to all of this to ensure equity and accessibility for all our students.
all right, so we have JRA-R, student records, JJA, student organizations, JJG, contests for students, JJH, overnight student travel on motor coach, JJH-R, student travel regulations, JJIB, interscholastic athletics, JKA, corporal punishment, JP, student solicitations, and JQ, student fees, fines, and charges, all first readings. So do we want to just go in order? Are we ready on student records, or was this one that we thought was going to need
wish I brought
maybe
my notes.
further discussion?
Maybe Carol's can help me
Yeah,
out
Carol's, do you recall, was this one
Because
that
I
we were
don't recall.
considering maybe having a workshop on because it's fairly?
Yes,
Meaty.
we should have a workshop on it, but the one you're looking at right now on the agenda is JRA-R.
Mhm.
And that's just the reason it's on there is for removal.
Okay,
It's just the recitation of the law.
okay.
So it's not really yeah.
It's not a policy of
There's also
ours.
some typos and things in there too.
Okay,
JRA is the policy you're referring to.
okay, all right. All right,
So
so as a
this-
first reading, then we can, if anybody has any questions about why we would be removing this, we can discuss this now, but it would be intended for deletion along with rewriting JRA.
Right. And I
Yes.
think GRA had gone to legal.
Okay.
I think that was the,
Yeah.
also as a reminder, deleted policies or anything we delete will be in an appendix in the back
Okay.
to just refer back to in future time if anybody needed to.
Okay.
So if this is proposed for deletion
Yeah.
because it's just repeating
law.
the law, then we would not need to review JRA in order to make a decision on this one. Is that correct?
Well, JRA is the policy,
Yes.
and that's why it's at legal right now, just to update any of the MGL laws and things like that.
So I guess my question is, do we have to hold on making a final deletion of this until we have JRA? Or can we instead, because this is just a recitation of the law, delete this while we review JRA with legal?
So right now, this is a standalone policy.
Okay, thank you.
The subcommittee is trying to make the policy book as efficient as possible, and where we don't have to recite a full law. The subcommittee is suggesting that you don't, but it will be, so JRA-R will be cited as a legal reference in JRA once we get it back from legal.
All right.
But not as that policy, as the Commonwealth whatever.
It'll
Yeah,
recite
as-
the
as
law. It'll reference the
603
law.
CMR
Okay.
23.
Yes,
Thank you.
exactly.
Okay, all right. I think that makes perfect sense. Thank you. Okay, all right. So JJA, which is student organizations. So we have the red line version. It seems pretty self-explanatory, but is there anything on here that you wanted us to consider or pay particular attention to?
I think this was one of the easy ones.
Okay, one of the few easy
So
ones.
this one, with the striking of a certain language, means that any new student organization must require our approval. Does that include clubs?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's always been the way, if somebody says, oh, I want to start a ping pong club, or I want to start a book club, they do come to us for approval.
Oh, I haven't approved one in the entire year.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Guess
Okay.
there's no new ones.
I guess not. I didn't realize that.
I'm supposed to.
Well, we'll reiterate that.
There you
to
go.
the principals, yeah.
I was
You
like,
know what?
wow, that feels, I didn't
But you
realize.
know what a lot of it deals with is because if there's a stipend for the advisor, that's why it
makes
has
sense.
to come
Yep,
to
right.
us.
That makes sense. Thank you. That's good context.
Okay, all right. So no further questions on JJA. JJG, contests for students. Looks like we're not recommending any changes here. Okay.
This just refers to, I feel like anybody watching might not know what that is. It's community organizations and agencies and sponsoring activities. When I first read contests for students as the title of it, I was a little like, what are we asking students to compete with each other on? But it wasn't that. So
You want to
I thought I
change the
would-
title?
But it might not be the worst thing in the world.
Okay.
But the language is more around community organizations, sponsoring activities, more around like the fundraising and things. It's just,
All right, so how about, think about a new title, and then the next time we look at this, we can,
I'll see if I can be brilliant in the next few weeks.
okay.
Okay.
The other option is to look to consolidate with there is a fundraising policy. So you may want to look at that, and that policy is JJE and JJE-E.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next up, JJH, this is overnight student travel on motor coach, which the grammar of that bugs me to begin with, but.
Yes.
Again,
Title.
Yes, we'll work on maybe wordsmithing the title.
In 2025, we might want to do our titles.
So, but it doesn't look like there are any recommended changes to.
there
the
aren't,
text.
but it's kind of funny that this comes up, because one of the things is, if people are going on a bus or someplace, they're supposed to tell us at least 2 weeks ahead of time. And we've had a lot of emergency meetings that are like,
Yes.
we're leaving in 3 days. So
Yep.
it's just, you know what, it's a policy, and we do the best we can.
Was there something about the 5 a.m. time? It's actually 6 a.m. in the Mass General Law?
Oh, is it? Let's check that out.
Maybe just something to look at.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
What's slightly confusing about this, just, it almost reads as though if they're, it applies to whether they're on a motor coach during those windows as opposed to overnight travel.
There's
So,
a separate policy on overnight travel, right?
I'm just going to note that it just says require travel between the hours
Yeah.
of midnight and 5 a.m. on motor coaches. So that implies that they're like in the vehicle at 1 a.m. in my literal mind.
Yep.
And I know we have the other policy on overnight travel, so maybe we just confirm.
Okay, let me look that up.
This policy is exactly that. It's the traveling between, and Assistant Superintendent Pruitt is correct. The law states 6 a.m. But this is just regarding the transportation of the students.
I see.
And it's under the model policy is Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, which is probably why motor coach.
Oh, thank you. You're like the voice from the ceiling that's explaining things to me, and I appreciate you. The voice from overhead has explained it all to me. Appreciate you.
All right.
Dumb question, but we can't consolidate that. Silly question, dumb question. Potentially, that couldn't be consolidated with overnight travel because of the federal law component? It just, on our efficiency piece, if we're discussing an overnight trip, could we bake the motor coach part into it for consolidation? Voice from above?
No, the section 37N of Mass General Law says you need to have a school committee needs to have a separate, like they have to be separate.
Thank you.
All right, student travel regulations. So this one, we've got transportation, trip scheduling, fundraising, and this one also has several legal references that look like they have been
Yeah.
updated.
Updated websites and things like that.
Yeah. Okay, so this one just, specifies that those late night trips have to be done by using a commercial motor coach.
It also has the midnight to 6 a.m. window.
Yep. Scheduling, okay. Okay, so this goes along with JJH.
Do you enjoy the trip itineraries must leave enough time for drivers to rest in conformity with federal hour of service requirements and common sense?
Very nice. Very thoughtful.
I actually thought that was, I was like, accurate. I like that.
So JJIB, interscholastic athletics. It looks like no,
I think that one was fine.
okay.
Which one?
I'm just curious about the last, the last paragraph. We're aware that they may have away games. Like, what is that
know.
even saying?
Well,
I'm
you
assuming
just
there's
gotta-
a good reason for it, but it just seems like a silly thing to state.
I know.
So,
It's
okay.
like stating the obvious.
Okay.
Where?
Yeah, okay.
I think we
Regulate
just,
certain aspects of student participation in such contests. Do we call them athletic contests?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if that language is used elsewhere in there, so, okay, all right. JKA, corporal punishment. In case anybody's wondering, this says that we don't do it.
Yeah, I just,
Yes.
there are times where I feel like I need to verbalize for
Yes.
the listening audience.
And the edits that are here are made to represent the law,
Thank you.
to mirror the law.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. JP, student solicitations. So this is just distribution of information to schools, students, et cetera, should not be used for advertising or promotional materials. So complementary and non-duplicated services can be shared with students, families, for nonprofits, et cetera. So no change there. Right. JQ, student fines, fees, fines, and charges. So it looks like we're not recommending any changes here.
No, it's pretty, straightforward.
This is the policy, just again, for those
Right.
who are watching, this does not get into the specifics of what is charged.
Correct.
Okay. It's very straightforward. Okay, and that was it. All
Right.
right. All right. Well, thank you, Carols, for all of your work here and your guidance tonight. We very much appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you, Carols.
I don't know if everyone appreciates the importance of keeping these up to date who might be watching, but it does really protect the district in so many ways, as well as protecting the students and
Right.
everyone who works here. So I really appreciate all of the effort of those who go through reviewing these as part of the policy committee, because it is a significant undertaking, but creates significant protection for us to making sure that we're operating in accordance to the law.
Absolutely.
Well said. All right. Next up, schedule of payment. So since the school committee last met, we have processed warrant 053S, which was for routine operating expenses. There's one more coming your way that it's sitting in my mailbox, so
Okay.
I'll get that out tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next up, public comment. Would any members of the public like to give any statements? No? Thank you for being here, though. It's
I'm
nice
so
to
excited to have a fan
an
club. It's like
audience. Okay. All right, so superintendent notes. Did Dr. Cabral leave anything for you to relay?
No, she did not.
Okay, great. Assistant superintendent notes.
All right, I just want to highlight two things. First, today we hosted Hingham Public Schools to view our elementary math program in action. So big thank you to Principal Christopher Getchell and Principal Sam Cedarbaum, along with Director of Instruction and EL Ann Weintraub, and the teachers, so Carolyn Marcus, Patty Siegel, Stephanie Sampietro, and Karina Griffin. It was just phenomenal to see. There were about 9 members of Hingham Public Schools here visiting, and as we were walking out, the director of math looked at me and said, "This sealed the deal." So,
Wow, good.
their transparency, just how we have developed, we've been using the Bridges program for 8 years now, and seeing that consistency in a program in our math students, as they were performing in 5th grade, being able to tell the story of how they've evolved and how having the same program for so many years has really built their consistency and their understanding of math concepts. And we were able to share some of our data with them to show that and prove that the program has done wonderful things in conjunction with our unit writing, and so we were able to really tell our story about that. I love hosting districts because it really gives us a chance to see and show off all of the wonderful things that are happening here in Easton. And our teachers and paraprofessionals really have done a remarkable job in putting their arms around new programming, making sure that they are been very flexible in just taking on new ideas and new teaching approaches. And I really just want to commend them because it was wonderful to see. It's the favorite part of my job is going into classrooms and seeing everything in action. And our kids, the way that they talk and the way that they're participating and conceptualizing the concepts is remarkable. So thank you very much to all those who hosted and being able to show off the wonderful work that we're doing. The other thing I just wanted to share with you, and I'm going to repeat this multiple times, save the date. May 30th, STEAM night it will be at Blanche Ames. It's for our pre-K through grade 2 students or aimed towards them. However, we welcome all students. And that is a night where we have community organizations come in and do STEAM activities with our students. We have been getting wonderful responses so far, but if anyone out there in the community would like to host a table related to science, technology, engineering, art, or math, we would love to have you focus towards our PK through 2 students. It's just a remarkable time, and the kids have a blast. So that's all I have for you this evening. Do you want to talk about the breakfast?
You can talk about it.
Okay, all right, okay. So Chair Starr and I were able to yesterday attend the legislative breakfast hosted by the South Shore Superintendent Roundtable in conjunction with MASS, which is the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents. We presented to our legislatures some of the issues that we're facing within our field and asking for their support. We did have Senator William Driscoll attend, which was great. It was actually my first opportunity meeting him, and we are excited to invite him to Easton and kind of share the uniqueness of our district as far as funding goes in our budget. And just we had members of the superintendents and assistant superintendents get up and share and present some of the challenges we're facing, especially around our special education funding and some of the reimbursements. Most of the districts that are on the South Shore are minimum aid districts. So it was, we are looking for full funding for minimum aid of $115 per student. So we were able to reiterate that as well. It was great to sit with colleagues and discuss and just to hear that we're not alone. We're all struggling, and that the increase in budget that we are receiving is not keeping up with the needs and just even inflation. So it is a struggle everywhere, and but to know that we are working with our legislatures to try and do the best that we can to improve that is remarkable, to have those opportunities to do that. Thanks.
Next up, school committee notes. Let's see, do we want to go and?
I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
So Marvel did all mine, so I'm all set. Thank you. The play, the basketball games.
Yes.
Thank you, Assistant Superintendent Pruitt, for updating us during the basketball game Monday.
Yes.
But and good luck with spring sports and everything else. Okay.
All right.
Please don't judge me for my fan base, for the way I am a fan, as I'm screaming at the top of my lungs.
No judging.
Kelly?
I just want to wish good luck to the jazz band on their competition next weekend, the 22nd.
Yep.
Good luck to all of them. I look forward to hearing how it goes. But that was all I had today.
Just checking. Let's see. Oh, so sort of continuing on just the theme of our state level advocacy, I was at a meeting in town. I think this was since we last met with Representative Bridget Plouffe, who's our newly elected representative. She took the place of Jerry Cassidy. And so it was great to meet with her, and I let her know that we'd be reaching out to invite both her and Senator Driscoll to an upcoming school committee meeting so that they have a chance to meet the committee as a whole. We'll all have an opportunity to speak with them, maybe kind of lay out some of our initial things that we're looking for their support and focus on. And then hopefully over the upcoming months, we'll have opportunities to bring them up to speed on what makes Easton's needs maybe unique and different from the other communities that they serve. And as I had mentioned to Senator Driscoll, our outgoing senator, that Walter Timilty was really, really great about allowing himself to be educated about what we need and are advocating for. And so we are looking forward to having a positive relationship as well. And then there will be, it's in the process of being scheduled, I believe, I think the select board will be able to communicate this, but there will be a special election upcoming in the next few months to replace our newly late Senator Carol Doherty. So that is, that they're working that out with the state is letting us know what that date will be.
Can I just share that it was very nice, the president of our roundtable, Jamie Labilowai, who's the assistant superintendent in Brockton, did have a moment of silence for Representative Doherty at the breakfast, which was a really nice tribute to her, and shared kind of her bio a little bit.
Yeah, we were just so lucky to have her.
We really were.
I was also able to meet with the chairs of a couple of school committees from our neighboring districts recently. So we had just a casual meeting for coffee, but it was interesting to hear one of them say that in doing their own community comparisons, Easton stands out as a district that spends less per pupil than them, but has a higher achievement in many ways. So they were kind of wondering what the secret sauce is. Yeah. So it was just interesting to hear that something that we talk about so much in town, right? That we're able to, we spend more, but have a lot to be proud of in the district is something that other communities have noticed about us as well. So very gratifying to hear that. although it makes everyday life really, really hard for everybody
Yes.
working in the district. So,
Yep.
Let's see, so you covered the jazz band, so yep, so it's the 22nd, right? So they've got their competition coming up. And then wanted to shout out to Matt Auger for coordinating a roundtable for the 8th grade civics project. So that will be coming up. I believe we set the date for the 26th.
Yep.
So that's before our next meeting. So, so several school committee members and members of the select board and town administration will be available to meet with 8th grade students to answer questions about that have come up through their civics projects. So this is the second year in a row that we've been able to do this. It was a lot of fun last year, so we'll have a great time there. So thank you to the social studies department for continuing to facilitate that for the students.
I just want to throw reading, Read Across America, whatever it is. Have they done that yet?
Yes.
So they're having Read Across America, but they're not having the readers in this year because Blanche Ames is hosting the Harlem Wizards and a big event that they are hosting and doing some programming through them. So this is the first year that they're not having the readers come in, but stay tuned because I know that many of the teachers want it to still be, and of course Mr. Cedarbaum does as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Just curious.
Yes.
It was last week where they did
Right.
sort
It's
of
usually around March
Yeah.
2nd
Yep.
or 3rd.
So they did a Spirit Week culminating in dressing as a favorite book character.
Oh, okay.
That
explains why my grandson went to school and like, why are you wearing that?
Well, we saw a few of the characters at the basketball game that evening.
Oh, okay.
And then at the musical, so they were still dressed
they
in their
stayed in
yes.
costumes.
That's great.
Thank you.
So they did that. They are currently helping Stripes, the tiger, make his way across America by putting in all of their reading minutes. So they have to fill out a reading log, and Stripes is working his way across, apparently. I have to put a timer on my nightly reading now. I contribute to the fact that there is a level of honesty. See, there you go. I have a witness that this is truly happening. I don't know where Stripes is right now, but it's a pretty competitive, we hear. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so great.
I was asked to read at very random times, like the bus stop. Can we get 2 minutes in here? So, yep.
That's
So
great.
they are working Stripes across. It's important. Every reading minute counts.
That's awesome.
What
a creative way
Yeah.
to get
Yep.
kids to read.
That is awesome.
That's really great. Okay, the EMS Night of the Arts is on the calendar for next Thursday, the 20th, and sophomore semi, and then their early release days
Yes.
next week from pre-K to 5 on the 20th for parent-teacher conferences, and then pre-K to 12 on Friday.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So that's it. And then just confirming Jackie hasn't rejoined? Okay. Okay, great. All right. Just want to make sure she didn't have any comments. All right. So with that, I'm going to make a motion to go into executive session to return to open session pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A subsection 21A2 to conduct strategy session in preparation for collective bargaining for the Easton Educators Association Unit A, Unit B, and paraprofessionals, and for revision to the MOA for Oliver Ames H Block, and pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, subsection 21A7, to comply with open meeting law and review executive session minutes from January 9th, 2025, and February 13th, 2025. And in my opinion, having these discussions in open session would be detrimental to the bargaining position of the school committee. Can I get a second?
DeLuca, second.
Roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Star, yes.
Pursue, yes.
All right. We will be back.
only reasonable time.
All right. Can you hear us? Okay, great. All right, welcome back, everybody.
Everybody.
Everybody, all of our adoring audience, thank you for hanging in, we appreciate it. Okay, so vote to approve minutes from the executive session of January 9th, 2025 and February 13th, 2025. So I make,
Approve and not release.
yes, so I make a motion to approve the minutes from January 9th, 2025 with noted edits to not release. Can I get a second on
DeLuca,
that?
second.
Roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Star, yes?
Pursue, yes.
Okay.
For other service.
Okay. And make a motion to, blah, blah, blah.
Accept but not
Accept-
release.
Approve but not release the meeting minutes from February 13th, 2025 with, were there no edits?
No.
With no, yeah, as is. Okay. Approve but not release February 13th, 2025. Can I get a second?
Pursue, second.
Roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Star, yes.
Pursue, yes.
And I make a motion to approve the change to the Oliver Ames MOA for H block. Can I get a second?
DeLuca, second.
Roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Star, yes?
Pursue, yes.
Great. Okay, our next meeting is on March 27th at 6 PM. And with that, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
DeLuca makes a motion to adjourn.
Can I get a second?
Pursue, second.
Roll call vote.
DeLuca, yes.
Star, yes.
Pursue, yes.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.
Have a
Thank